What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Every day, I feel a lot better. My nose is not stopped up today. My voice is still trying to come back, but we're going to figure it out. So what's going on, chat? I am live streaming straight from the crib today because I have a flight that I got to catch to go and link up with my people over there in New York for the Patreon meetup. But we'll get to that shortly in the housekeeping. You know what I said when I woke up this morning? Because I already knew something was going to happen, right? Nothing major, but just I knew something was going to happen. Because right now it's becoming a pattern. And it's kind of something that I need to hold myself accountable for. But I see y'all say it in the chat sometimes, so I'm going to address it. Anton is usually like 3 to 4 minutes tardy every single day when it comes to the Millionaire Morning Show. Now, a little bit of it was intentional at first, but then it became a habit, and habits become norms, and so we have to break the habit, all right? Anton has to bring himself to the front of the congregation. But I'm not just going to say I'm going to change. I'm going to give you the reason why I'm late. When I'm late, going forward, starting today. So, do you want to know why I was late? 5 minutes late from the time that I scheduled to do this live stream today, ladies and gentlemen? Would you like to know why Anton from Anton Daniels is? I tell you what, put a 1 in the chat if you want me to be accountable to you guys and tell you why I was late. When I'm late, starting the day, and I'll tell you the truth why I'm late. In the meantime, let me go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you tap into that Teej Hanley. If you are not a Teej Hanley representative, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're not using my link that's in the description, then I don't know what to tell you. Make sure you get that Teej pack, 30% off your first order, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. I'm going to tell you just like I said it in the commercial. You got to get started today. You can't be out here looking like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know what I mean. I'm pushing my bag chasers to be in the top 10%, top 1%. You got to make our lives uncomplicated. And Teej Hanley, there's no better product. And all right, I need y'all to go and get that Teej pack. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Click the link in the description. I see a lot of ones in the chat. All right, so this is why I was late today. I'm always going to be honest with y'all. I'm always going to be absolutely accountable. It's not as complicated as y'all think it is, but you asked for it, so I'm always gonna be honest. So you know how whenever somebody start off with a story like, so you know how y'all got to get a like up for the YouTube algorithm. You know how so I take a shower every single day. Every morning, every night. Sometimes I take 3 showers a day if it's convenient for me or if I go to the gym or something like that, right? But at the very least, I take a shower when I get up in the morning or before I get my day out started, and I take a shower at night. But the most annoying thing is something that's just not for me, because shout out to Jeremy Clay. I'm gonna be reading that super chat shortly. The most annoying thing for me, and I don't know if this is for anybody else, because I'm a super clean person. Like, I'm a dolphin. I'm well groomed. I take care of my business. But the most annoying thing for me is after you get in the shower, when you get out, then you got to use the restroom. That is annoying. So I said, you know what? The people just gonna have to take this 5 to 10 minute delay, because I'm getting right back in the shower after I use the restroom. I'm getting in the shower and I got to start off the day right. It just is what it is. That's the reason why I was late today. I got right back in the shower after I had to use the restroom. Y'all wanted to know, so I'm telling you. Don't sit here and tell me too much information. I don't want to hear it. I'm not about to be walking out here with the dirty booty. You know what I'm saying? And I keep a pack of wet wipes with me and all of that. But after I got out the shower, I'm like, God damn it. I mean, this is some this is some real life shit for real. Y'all not gonna get nobody that be this real with y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show, yo. I said, listen. My people just gonna have to understand. I am more than willing to be absolutely transparent with them. I will tell them why I was late. I got right back in the shower and I rewashed my face. I went ahead and gave me the double pack, the Teej pack. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was late today. I got back in the shower because when I got out the shower, I had to use the restroom. I said, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and get back in the shower. So that's why I'm late today. I'm holding myself accountable. I apologize. I'm gonna do better tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It's some people in the Patreon, they say, how much is the tickets? How much is the tickets for the location? And don't mention the location publicly. That is only for the bag chasers, right? A lot of people keep asking me how much are the tickets to get into the location where we're doing our meetup at. Is no cost. There's no cost, all right? If you want to know more details, then send me a message inside of the Patreon. But I do not charge or I do not advocate for people to spend money as far as getting into and coming to kick it and having a good time and networking and bringing your plus one. And if you got a plus one, bring your plus one with you. You know what I'm saying? If you got a man, if you got a husband, you got a wife, a girlfriend, a homegirl, a homeboy, bring your people with you. We gonna have a good time. We partied. The last time I was in New York, we partied till like 4 in the morning. No cap. Last time I was in New York, we chilled, we vibed, we went and got pizza afterwards. We just had a good time. And so I'm looking forward to kicking it with y'all again. It's always good vibes. If you've never met me in person, I encourage you to do so. Your only barrier to entry is make sure that you're a bag chaser. And then I fly different places into the cities of the people that I love the most. And I try to add value into your life. So make sure you tap into the Patreon. I did update the location inside of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so let's get started with the show. I don't want to have any more delays or anything like that. I already then got in the shower again, but at least you know I got a clean booty. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all walking around with the streaky booty. I got a clean booty out in these streets. All right, so the first thing that was on my mind, because I did a live stream last night. So for those of y'all, well, first of all, let me get my first super chat out of the way. Shout out to Jeremy Clay. Jeremy Clay is in the building. I appreciate you. Said had to clap some cheeks this morning. It's all good. We ain't tripping on you being late. Rita is out getting her hair done, getting pampered. And you know what? I'm glad that you said that, Jeremy. And I'm going to read the Cash App shortly also. But I'm glad you said that, Jeremy, because it kind of feeds into what somebody asked me after the show yesterday, right? And so last night I jumped on a live stream and I had a conversation. And one of the things that I was saying was until they update the family court laws and until they change, that's my number one issue. My number one issue, if I ever have an opportunity to sit in front of a presidential candidate or somebody that's running for, any legislative branch with significant pull and power to influence what it is that we're doing in our policies and the ways in which we're going about doing things in this country, that is my number one thing that I would ask them is, how can we influence what happens as far as updating family court laws so that we make it more conducive for men and for families, because I think that that's the number one way in which you solve for a lot of these problems, single parent households, building wealth within your communities, not breaking up households, so on and so forth, right? But somebody reached out to me afterwards, and then I jumped on the phone with them this morning because they asked me a question about something that I said that could be taken as misogynistic or chauvinistic, or it's not partnership worthy, or it's not 50-50. And I want to give you a little bit more context. So for those of you that missed the show last night, during one segment towards the end, I kind of went off on one of my rants, right? And I said something, and I said her money is my money. And so, because Freezy asked me, and shout out to my dog Freezy. Freezy said, he was giving me his perspective about women and when they make money and all of this other type of stuff. And what if they work and then they start to feel a little bit more masculine and they feel like they got more say-so in the household? And I said, women have always worked. Why is that changing the dynamic of how it is that she's supposed to operate inside of her household? And let's address it, because it's the Millionaire Morning Show, and whether we're talking about relationships, politics, business, whatever, it always comes back down to the money, right? And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into Boyce Watkins. We're going to get into the Detroit police commissioner that got arrested for getting a prostitute. Yeah, we're going to bring you to the front of the congregation, big dog. Detroit, it's your turn. We're going to get into Stephen A. Smith. We're going to get into a recently naturalized U.S. citizen that is now making $420,000 a year. We're going to break down how he did it. We're going to get to all of that, right? But let's talk about these relationships, because for some reason, y'all are under the impression that because you go to work and you make money, that's somehow your responsibility, or somehow makes you a part of the discussion of how it is that I spend it. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. Somehow, it's your business as to what it is that I do with the money. It's not. And when your grandfather used to go to work back in yesteryear, and he used to bring the check home to grandmama, and then grandmama went and spent all of the money and paid the bills, but just because she was fiscally responsible with regard to making sure that the bills was paid didn't mean that she knew what she was doing when it came to managing and understanding how money worked, right? And so the way that it happens, and I'll just break it down from my perspective of how it happens in my household. The way that it plays out in my household is from the very beginning, whether Rita worked or whether she didn't work. When she got a big check, and she has gotten big checks, and I'm talking about checks all the way up to $50,000. What she did was, the first thing that she did every single time was she brought me the check. Here, I'll show you the money order. This is a money order that I haven't filled out yet. It's a bunch of them. It's like 6 of them. She brought me the check, right? And she said, here you go, daddy. Do with it what you will. Shout out to O'Neal Harris. I'm going to read that super chat in a minute. She said, do with it what you will. She never tried to figure out what was going on with the money. She never was trying to figure out how to count the pockets. She never was trying to figure out where is her cut. She's never asked me that question, not one time. Not when we was getting money in the early days, not when I went broke in 2007, 2008, and we had to move back into my mom's basement, and not now, not ever. You know what she's doing right now? Getting pampered, getting her hair done, getting her nails done, getting a massage, right? Driving the best cars, flying first class everywhere. You know what her job is? Her job is to make sure that the household is taken care of. meaning that she has a responsibility to make sure that the maids come in here and do what they're supposed to do. She has a responsibility to make sure that my daughter is taken care of and that she gets to and from and that she's nurtured. She has a responsibility to answer all of the emails. She has a responsibility to ensure that the things that I task her with is completed, right? She's nurturing. The minute that I walked in the house last night and she actually jumped on, well, she didn't come on the panel, but she actually came up and she said, listen, as soon as I walked in the door from the office last night, she was like, oh, you about to jump in the shower real quick before your live stream? She ran in the bathroom. She cut on the shower for me. She made sure that my towel was laid out. I didn't expect for any of that. I didn't ask for any of that, but that's just the nurturing spirit within her. And so Rita's disposition has always been, she doesn't want the responsibility, the added responsibility of managing finances and trying to figure out what her investments are, so on and so forth. Now, because I'm such a giving and nurturing and a well-prepared person, I have spreadsheets, I have documents, I have Google Docs, I have encrypted passwords and so on and so forth. And I inform her, hey, listen, this is where the money at. If anything was to ever happen to me, you tap into this first. This is how you contact the life insurance company. This is how you contact my corporate position in order to put them in a position and then send that check, right? I've prepared her with all of the passwords. She knows where all of the how to tap into the 401k. She knows what the long-term goal is. This is how much you would spend each year. This is how much the return is supposed to be. This is how much we make in this year. She understands all of that because I have to make sure that my family is prepared at all times. At all times in case anything was to ever happen, because I'll be damned if they ever depend on the federal government, if they ever do a fucking fish fry, or they ever ask for a donation for anybody. Right? She understands how things work when it comes to operating a business. One of the reasons why I'm having her be the forefront of working with the contractor and the architects is building his house is because I want her to understand every single thing from a business perspective. But let's be clear. Let's be crystal clear. She has never, nor does she want to, have any responsibility of what it takes in order to actually pay a bill. At all. She don't care. She's not interested. She's not fucking going over the statements. That's not how we rock, right? And one of the reasons why it's so easy for me to operate this way within my household is because I've established that as a cultural norm amongst us from the very beginning. And the problem with society and relationships in general is that you are out of your purpose. Her purpose is to be a nurturer. My purpose is to be a builder, right? And so because things are out of the norm, you have women operating like men and men operating like women. And so it's very difficult for you to continue to get her to go back into her femininity because she's so focused on what it is that you fucking doing because she looking over your shoulder trying to figure out how it is that she can get her nose in your business. When men are talking, right? When the men in the family is talking, for example, and we trying to solve for a problem, or we dealing with a young dude, or we talking about what's the course or what the trajectory is of how it is that we supposed to solve for something, or when me and my three brothers come together and we start having a conversation, you know what the women do? They go in a different room, or they go in the kitchen, or they go and watch TV, or they go and play volleyball or something like that. They automatically remove themselves out of the room because they understand that men are talking about business and you are out of your purpose. And so if you so busy trying to look over his shoulder, trying to figure out what it is that he doing with the money or how much you gonna get, from the time that we went broke, when we went broke and I was giving her $25 a week in allowance, and I said, listen, this is what we got to work with. This is, you can do whatever you want to do with your $25. And I promise you, and it's funny because I was having this conversation, she never questioned me. She never questioned me, not one time. And I said, listen, this $25 is going to be $25,000 a week. It's going to be $25,000 a week in spending allowance. You're going to have so much money that you're going to have access to that you're not even going to know what to do with it. It's going to be too much for you to spend. It's going to be your cup runneth over, but we got a plan and we're going to stick to it. And this is how we're going to go about doing it. And you know what she did? She was on board 100% of the time. Never questioning nothing, always in the purpose. And it's funny because she just sent me a text message this morning when she was going to go and get her hair done. And she said, I love you more than anything in this world, more than my mom, the whole 9 yards. And so y'all going to have to start establishing a new way of doing things that's outside of what you see on Instagram. that's outside of these women that's trying to coach y'all into being partners instead of being a wife. I swear to God, it's much easier to be able to live in your femininity, not have to worry about what the hell is going on out there. Bring your motherfucking check home. I want all of it. I want every fucking dollar. I want it on the table right now. I don't want you hide nothing. You ain't gotta hide nothing. You can go out there and buy anything you want to buy. Bring me my motherfucking money. Now. And the minute that you establish, you get that uncomfortable conversation out of the way, you establish that cultural norm, and that's the way you go about living in your relationship going forward. Now, if you get that genie out of the bottle and you leading with your money and you messing it up and you told her that she was a partner and now she have an expectation to be able to have some say-so on what the hell is going on, then you're going to be fucked up. Now, that also requires you to be a responsible person, to be a responsible man, not to fumble the bag, not to be out here making dumb decisions, right? It requires for you to not take her money and then go out and buy a Charger and a Hellcat and then get that bitch repossessed, right? So that goes without saying. But my point is that just because you work, just because you got a job, does not mean that you're the head of the household. I'm going to give you some responsibility. It doesn't mean that you can't go out there and participate. I'm also taking into consideration what you say, but we have to establish healthy cultural norms, and you have to go and revisit the thing that worked in the beginning. This new way and this new age of looking at how it is that you're going to do things just because you have some form of liberation, if you understood what liberation really meant, it meant that you now have more responsibility and you're going to suffer as a result of it. Your liberation brings suffering. That means that you're going to have to go out here and compete with people like me that don't sleep every day. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to be able to wake up with no alarm. You want to be able to wake up and look out at that water, have a good time, go and have your friends and fly wherever you want to fly and swipe whatever. What you don't know, and this is the funniest part about it, you actually spend more than you can physically bring in, because I don't look at the value of what you do based off of the amount of money that you can then bring into the household, right? So you're doing yourself a disservice and actually cutting your own legs off by wanting to participate and saying, having a say-so of what it is that you want to do it, then take your little money and do what you want to do. Or we can do it my way. I can multiply this shit. I can make sure that we really making investments towards our future. You protect it for the rest of your life, and you can stay in your femininity. Which one you want? Now, I shouldn't have to explain that to you, but I know it's some people in the back that really don't get it and don't understand what it is that I'm saying. Your little bit of money don't really move the needle. What I'm putting you in a position to do is really add more value, because I understand the value that you bring more than what that man is that you're subjecting yourself to at your job, right? And because I know what's best for you, I need you to shut the fuck up and bring me that check. Because it's not about the money, it's not about the check, it's about your submission. It's about the fact that you're willing to play your role in this greatness that we building together, because you're largely going to be the beneficiary of what it is that I put together for you. Let me do what men do and stop trying to emasculate the man that's next to you and trying to tell him what it is that he's supposed to do. And that way y'all will be able to be successfully married for the rest of your life. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, all right? So I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of clarification so that y'all will understand exactly how men work. So I know that they out here telling you this and they telling you that, and you listening to a bunch of niggas that don't know shit about marriage. They don't know shit about money. They don't know shit about relationships. They don't know nothing about nothing. They put on a suit. They put on a cap. They go and get them a chain that ain't worth shit, put a bunch of diamonds in it, and they trying to tell you how to be able to operate within a relationship. I'm the best that you gonna get. It's God, Jesus, Anton. God, Jesus, Anton. I am the most perfect example of what it's supposed to be and what a marriage is supposed to look like in every facet of what relationships are. When it comes to finances, when it comes to money, when it comes to being a father, when it comes to being raised by a family, when it comes to being raised in a church, when it comes to being an overcomer, and then ultimately being a reflection of the thing that you're advocating for people, right? Because the one thing that women are having a difficulty with when it comes to me is that you can't sit here and say that, well, he's this, or he's not married, or he's not married to a black woman, or he's not a father, or he's a baby daddy, or he got some children out of wedlock, or so you can't do that to me. And I've been married for 2 fucking decades. And so it's a difference. I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm not already doing. I'm not the pot calling the kettle black. Pristine, without spot, wrinkle, or blemish. You know what the hierarchy is, all right? Let's get into the show. They don't like it when you talk like this. They don't like it when you talk like this. Shout out to O'Neal Harris. O'Neal Harris is in the building and said, Anton, I think you are too real for these people. However, you spitting facts. Shout out to O'Neal Harris. I appreciate you, big dog. Bam Bam Lynch is in the building, says, super facts. That's exactly how my dad taught me. Y'all better start listening to y'all fathers. Shout out to Pretty Boy. I appreciate you. Says, love your message. Grown man talk is in the building. And let me also give a shout out to Mike, that dude, holding me down. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's real out here in the field. Thank you for the 20 ball. Pretty Boy 79. We're going to be doing it up and over in New York. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right. Let's get into the show, y'all. I didn't anticipate having a conversation about Boyce Watkins 2 days in a row. Shout out to Jaquel. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. But I have to, because this dude won't stop being in the news, right? And it's funny because I was having a conversation yesterday and I was on the fence. I know y'all remember, right? I was on the fence when I was having a conversation yesterday. It was difficult for me to really understand what this truce was between him and Corey Holcomb. And the reason why it was so difficult and why I have a hard time in transitioning into being a better version of myself based off of the idea that I need to operate in forgiveness and I have to be above board as far as continuing not to throw stuff in the mud. Just be reactive of what it is that you see happening to you. Sometimes you don't even have to counterpunch, right? And so it's very difficult. And I'm always trying to understand how this comes back down to the money. I know Boyce Watkins has been complaining lately about the fact that Facebook and Instagram has removed his platforms. So I don't know what he's trying to transition into. Boyce Watkins has largely branded himself as an ambassador for the black community, the blackity blacks, right? But based it in the idea that he's a PhD when it comes to finance and economics and all of this other type of stuff, right? And then we've seen a transition from Boyce Watkins over into Moist Watkins, right? In which he started advocating for guys to throw themselves into the fire. Really started being aligned with black women. He didn't have the allure of a Derrick Jackson, so I'm not sure why he did that. But then we seen him in his proposal with his fanny pack on. And I have nothing negative to say about his wife whatsoever because she's not a part of this conversation. However, the proposal itself was cringe, and everybody has already pointed that out, so it's no need in me doing that. But I'm giving you the context because everything leading up to what happened with Corey Holcomb with Willie D Live was weird to me. It was absolutely weird to me, and it was weird because, A, I couldn't understand for the life of me why Boyce Watkins kept going back and forth with Corey Holcomb, right? And then he jumped on a live with Willie D, and I reviewed that yesterday, and if y'all want to go and check that out, go and look at the live stream from yesterday. And then he jumped on a live stream with Willie D, right? And he told Corey Holcomb, well, you're like one of my favorite comedians. And it's like, it's giving chameleon vibes. Or maybe not. Maybe he is one of his favorite comedians, right? But then he went on after going through a back and forth spat with Corey Holcomb, and they were talking about the importance of truces, right? And the importance of de-escalating situations. And then right after that, we came right back to the front of the congregation. Right after that, we came right back to the front of the congregation. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of Roland Martin either, right? But how do we go about jumping on a live stream with Corey Holcomb? And I'm not sure if he's trying to flex his muscles and trying to be more manly when it comes to, I'm going to address these people dead on, or I'm feeling some type of way, or maybe he's going through something in his life. I have no idea what that is. But how do you then, first talk about de-escalation tactics and the importance of showing black men and young men in the black community the power it is important for you to be able to de-escalate a situation when it comes to Corey Holcomb, and then you jump right on the Instagram live, or you jump right on the live stream, or you jump right on the video, whatever this is recorded on. And shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, because I got this over there from O'Shea Duke Jackson. But then you jump right on the live stream and you start talking about this.
I don't have a lot of time today, but I wanted to come in and first of all, I want to give a shout out to my brother over at TD Hip Hop Media, who brought it to my attention through a video that he did, an excellent video, excellent analysis. Everybody should subscribe to his channel. And he talked about Roland Martin's 6 significant objections to Cornel West running for president. He said that Roland did his typical thing, you know, neck snapping and eye rolling, you know, just all these weird feminine behaviors that he engaged.
And see, it's one thing to have a reaction, again, because I'm cool with people reacting to what's going on in the culture, what's happening with the presidential election, what's happening when it comes to the money, whatever it is that you talk about, right? I think that is. It's just a part of the game. It's what the internet does. Part of where we draw our inspiration from as to what it is that we're going to talk about on these platforms comes from what's happening in popular culture, right? But every single time, it goes without failing. Boyce don't just give his opinion about something. He goes in and he starts attacking a person's character, right? He started attacking a person personally. He starts talking about why he thinks Roland Martin is feminine and snapping his neck and all of that. And again, you got to take it from a person that's not a fan of Roland Martin at all. I'm not a fan of any of these guys that's a part of the old guard that didn't add any value, but I think that they actually led men and led the black community down a path that was worse for them than actually helping them, even though they masked it in the form of helping. Boyce Watkins, in my opinion, is a part of it. But my question is, isn't this the same thing that got him into a spat with Corey Holcomb and then he had to de-escalate it with Willie D? Why isn't he just giving his opinion on what the content is and react to that specifically and give insight and information on why you should or shouldn't support, or why you should or shouldn't vote, or why you should or shouldn't do this with your money, and so on and so forth? Why does every single time, and then he'll complain when people start to come for him, but every single time he has an opinion about something, right after he did a de-escalation with Willie D and Corey Holcomb, he starts saying this about another fellow black man who he allegedly supports. Let me rewind it for you, so I want you to get the full context.
Media, who brought it to my attention through a video that he did, an excellent video, excellent analysis. Everybody should subscribe to his channel. And he talked about Roland Martin's 6 significant objections to Cornel West running for president. He said that Roland did his typical thing, you know, neck snapping and eye rolling, you know, just all these weird feminine behaviors that he engages in whenever somebody upsets his bosses. And I figure, as a little bit of an OG and a guy who's known Roland for a long time, he's kind of gotten on my nerves since I first met him. I met him in 2006 on CNN. Me, him, and Wendy Williams were on there together. And I remember the first thing I noticed is I said, wow, this guy really talks a lot. You know, this guy talks a lot and he talks about himself. And so I didn't like the energy. I remember him talking
This is an exact same blueprint that got him in a spat with Corey Holcomb. He went on there and he started talking about how he didn't like Corey Holcomb when he met him, and he had this energy that he didn't care for. I mean, if this is not the exact thing that he identified on Willie D's live and that he said about Corey Holcomb that got Corey Holcomb on his ass in the first place, pause. This is the exact same thing that he apologized to Corey Holcomb for, and he's doing it right after that as far as the things that he's saying that we need to not do when it comes to having conversations about other black men. Again, it's one thing to have a difference of opinion or to push back on what it is that they stand for, but it's another thing to go against the exact same thing that you said that you wouldn't do when it was convenient for you because you wanted to get Corey Holcomb off your ass. And now he's doing he's using the exact playbook. Yo, when I first met him and he holding all of this energy in. So you felt a certain type of way about him for over what, 16, 17 years, right? Because you said that you met him in 2006. Okay, so for the past 17 years, if my mental math is correct, right? You saying that you held these thoughts in, and now you feeling some type of way about him. And so you talking about how he was sassy, you didn't like him, he had this negative energy. And so now you don't, because this is the femininity. The femininity is this. This is the shit that women do. Women do this when they get mad at each other and they be like, I ain't like you anyway. Y'all remember you seem like you like my boyfriend. This dude bringing up something from 17 years ago in order to substantiate how it is that he feel about another man. I met him in 2006. You didn't say it to his face. You didn't tell him directly. Let me play it for you. I'm going to let the rest of this play out, and I'm going to let y'all give your own opinion.
On CNN, me, him, and Wendy Williams were on there together, and I remember the first thing I noticed is I said, "Wow, this guy really talks a lot." You know, this guy talks a lot and he talks about himself. And so I didn't like the energy. I remember him talking my ear off again about himself. And it's just his behavior has always been, it's not my style. Let's just say that. You got a lot of weird narcissists kind of in this game. I guess they get a little bit of YouTube fame, and so they start to become these divas. Well, anyway.
You can't make this up, bro. Same playbook with Corey Holcomb, Roland Martin. He did these little underhanded shots when it came to Kevin Samuels, right? He do this. This is what he do. When he want to have a conversation, when he want to try to throw you under the bus and he want to seem like, oh man, I'm just identifying what it is that I was thinking, or I'm just calling it out how I see it. It's cool for the goose, but it's not cool for you. And this is why, listen, I got trust issues, y'all. I got trust issues when it comes to the old guard, some of these content creators, because the minute that you bury the hatchet is the exact same time that they then go off and do the exact thing that they said that they wasn't going to do when they don't want to do it. So for me, personally, I'd rather be on the offensive than sitting here always trying to be on the defensive. Because as I navigate through these waters, and the same thing that he's accusing Roland Martin of, who, by the way, just so happens to have a much bigger platform, does much bigger numbers than Boyce Watkins could ever do, and by the way, can articulate themselves probably a little bit better. Even though I don't like Roland Martin, even though I don't like where Roland Martin stands for, I think that Roland Martin would absolutely wash Boyce Watkins in a debate. He has a much bigger platform, a much bigger audience, knows how to create content better than Boyce Watkins. And so, in my opinion, what this comes off as is jealousy, right? Because the same way that Boyce Watkins gives criticism, he doesn't give credit, right? You can be objective. I did a live stream on something that Dr. Umar Johnson talked about yesterday. And I had to give him credit. He was not wrong in one thing that he said with regard to what he was talking about and what we was breaking down in the live stream. You got to be objective as a person that has a voice on the internet. Now, you can feel a certain type of way about somebody, but you also got to give credit where credit is due. And the fact of the matter is, this sounds like jealousy, and I don't like either one of them, but it sounds like jealousy. Instead of him going in and substantiating his argument based off of whether or not he agreed with Roland Martin or not, he goes in, he talks about how he's feminine. He goes in and he starts to talk about how he didn't like him in 2006 when he first met him, and he talked a lot and all of this other type of stuff. How is that any different from you? How's that any different from me? This is what we do. We're content creators. I could talk for fucking 3 hours straight without having any subject to talk about and be cooking the whole time, because that's what we're trained to do. That is what we're built for. This is what content creation is. But it's hypocritical.
So the diva and Roland came out. I don't know if you guys know. Give me a yes if you know that Cornel West is running for president. I believe he's running under the Green Party banner, and I think that that's a good thing. Cornel has a history in politics. Cornel was one of the reasons. A lot of people don't know that Cornel was one of the reasons that Obama got the black support that he got, because they sat in a room together and they said, okay.
Which is one of the reasons why we not fucking with y'all. Because Obama was one of the worst things that could happen when it came to what it is that we face in today, because he was a bigger advocate for the alphabet community than he was from a policy perspective of the people that he actually was supposed to represent and those that got him in office.
How do we get black people to support this new guy named Barack Obama? And once Cornell lent his credibility to get Obama the support that he needed from the black community, Obama kind of did what Obama did, which was.
And let's be clear, Cornel West giving his stamp of approval for President Obama, former President Obama, is not the thing that got him elected. But let him gaslight y'all so that he can continue to say what he got to say.
Kind of forget about black folks. And in that campaign I did with Russell Simmons with the Obama administration, I saw up close just how sinister it was, how unethical the behavior was. It just bothered me. It made me walk away from politics. I told the White House never to call me again. Anyway, long story.
Like the White House is checking, man, I'm not dealing with this gaslighting shit no more. Only reason I even wanted to reference this video is to help y'all to understand why I had reservations about things that was going on yesterday as far as that whole Corey Holcomb situation in the first place. But it's a pattern, man, and you got to start paying attention to the pattern of these people so that you can better anticipate what's going to happen before it happens. Because just because these people jump in front of you and they throw their little degrees in and they say that, you know, I'm for the black community or I'm for this people, I'm for that people, man, them can be some of your biggest and worst enemies ever. Some of the people that came after me or come after me is some of the ones that they say that they for y'all, but they not really for you, because if they were, then they wouldn't put themselves in harm's way, because when I come for you, I'm going to come for you. Well, let me not say that. I'm changing. I'm evolving. I'm different. God ain't done with me yet. And I am genuinely working every single day to move differently in a way that does not allow for me to have to start, you know, having conversations about justifying my behavior towards going after a person or whatever like that, anything outside of content creation. I've been a good boy lately. If it ain't about the content, I've been a really, really good boy. I've been staying out of the clear. I ain't been perfect, but I've been a good boy. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to get it popping. Shout out to Jacquel. I appreciate you. Said, greetings and blessings, my brother. I hope you had a restful night and a great morning workout. Prayers go up for health, for good health, graces, mercies, and protections for you and your, as well as the bag chasers. Thank you, Jacquel, and I appreciate you. Thank you, and the same thing to you. Blessings, great health, mercies, all of the good things that God has to offer for you and all of the bag chasers. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Demetrius Coleman, says, prefacing your conversation by insults sounds like sign language. Shaking my head. I agree. So shout out to you also. Thank you, Demetrius. I'm continuing to read super chats throughout the show. Let's get into the real thick of things, all right? With everything in me, ladies and gentlemen, I got to be objective. But everything in me, every single day. One of my prayers is that when I go through and I have to pay attention to the things that you guys send me inside of my email to review whether or not I want to talk about Chicago, what's happening in Baltimore, Philadelphia, LA, Florida, so on and so forth, right? I pray that Detroit is not in my inbox. Lord, send me a sign that I'm not supposed to talk about Detroit today. And you know what he sent me? Something that I cannot ignore. The motherfucking police commissioner. Shout out to Tazzy in the building. I'm going to have to acknowledge that super chat right after I talk about this story. The police commissioner, the Detroit police commissioner, is caught with a prostitute by other cops, and then he tries to leverage his position to get out of the situation. You can't make this up. Shout out to my dog. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. I said, no, Jesus. I want my city to continue to trend forward, to be successful, to not be in the news for things that they can't control, all of the negativity. You know, the biggest problem with black people is that most of our problems are self-inflicted. Most of our problems within our community, it's not the white man. Listen, 99.9% of the problems that happen within your community is not systemic. It is self-inflicted. Not this good black man that had worked his whole life. Is it anything wrong with him getting a little bit of head? No. Go and get you some head, dog. But what you on the side of the road going to get into having a prostitute come and jump into your car and giving you some go 3,000? How did you get to the point to where you became the Detroit police commissioner of Gotham City and you didn't know that it's a strong possibility that you're going to get arrested and put on the sex offenders list for having a prostitute jump inside of your car and then be able to polish off your knob? We can't be this dumb, y'all. We can't be this dumb. Listen, if you gonna catch me for not having my taxes done by the end of the year or some shit, right? Catch me for something that I can justify and say, all right, listen, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get my taxes done in time. I'm on top of it. Catch me on something that's logical that I can come back from. Don't catch me on something I can't explain to my wife, right? Catch me doing something that's not gonna cause me to lose my job. That's the criteria at the very least. If you gonna catch me doing something, please let me keep my bags, Freaky Jason. I may not necessarily be able to keep my dignity. I can apologize for that. But let me keep my bags, Freaky Jason. Don't let me have to resign from my position that I worked my whole life for. And I'm gonna put it on the line for some head? For some head? Yo, I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Detroit, it's your turn. Detroit, it's your turn, bag dog.
Jessica Dupek joins us tonight on The Edge with the details. Jessica.
Roop and Taryn, apparently he asked undercover Wayne County Sheriff's deputies if they could help him out and made sure to give them his title. Unfortunately, he'll now have to plead his case in front of a judge, slapped with a ticket for indecent and obscene conduct.
Was he caught like in the act, as they say?
From my information, when they came upon his vehicle, he was having a sex act conducted on him.
Do I have to say anything right now? Do y'all want to hear my commentary on this? Hold on, wait. Look at this good, strong black man that's right here. We both got bald heads. We both got glasses. Mine is Versace, right? His is a little bit more politically correct. Look at this strong black man with a bald head that's under me right here. This guy right here. You know how difficult it got to be to go and explain to your peoples when you get home, hey, yo, I need you to come and bail me out. Oh, what happened? Did the white man come at you and assault you and racially profile you? Nah. Did you have to defend yourself against somebody and now you just got arrested in order for them to be safe? Nah. Well, what did you do, honey? I got caught in this back parking lot with this overgrown grass and I was getting some head by a prostitute. Jesus Christ. Not the prostitute, bro. Broski, not the prostitute. Not getting busted with the same tactics that you already are trained in, that you know your officers, because you're the Detroit police commissioner, is executing. You are trained to understand and be able to identify when this type of stuff is going on. Your officers are executing some of these same searches out here in the streets. Don't tell me you're getting busted with the same tactics that you've trained to. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Vacant lots, overgrown bush here on Detroit's west side. A parked truck.
Not on the west side. With the fire hydrants. I know that area. You got to steer clear of that area. There's some streetwalkers over there, big dog. You can't be getting seen in your company vehicle over there.
Wednesday morning inside a known prostitute with her head allegedly in the lap of this man, Brian Ferguson.
At that time,
Jesus.
Mr. Brian Ferguson stepped out, identified himself as a Detroit police commissioner.
Captain Jason Bates says undercover Wayne County Sheriff's deputies approached the truck parked on a side street near Schaefer and Schoolcraft. When
A lot of y'all not familiar with what happens on Schaefer and Schoolcraft. A lot of y'all not familiar with what happens on Schoolcraft and Schaefer. All right? Let me fill you in. Don't go. I can't sing my tune because my voice is a little messed up because I'm getting over my cold and stuff like that. Please don't go. Please don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Listen, if your homeboys say, yo, we about to go hit the bar on Schaefer and Schoolcraft, please don't go. Don't go. Don't go, bro. If you see a woman and her ankles is ashy and she looking to give you head, please don't go. Don't go, big dog. If you got an unidentified woman that's asking for money in order to get in your car and put her head in your lap, please don't go. Don't go, big dog. Don't you get caught slipping, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your household, you're going to lose your income, and you're going to be fucking working at a restaurant trying to serve me my pancakes, and I'm going to be telling you I want my shit hot. Don't go, bro.
they did, the sex worker jumped out.
Obviously,
Look at them ankles. Look at the ankles. Are you telling me that a woman that got them type of sandals on, walking down the street with a plastic bag, that you feel comfortable pulling out your wiener and letting her polish your knob? No, dog. You're not about to put bed bugs in my lap.
Worker jumped out.
obviously it was blatant. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's light out.
After introducing
And he got it done in the daytime. He said it was. He said, wifey left me hanging this morning. It's 7 a.m. I need to go ahead and make sure that I get my fix before I go to work in the morning. This nigga went and got Gawk 3000 in the morning before work. He ain't get it after work. He said, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to get it in the daytime. I'm going to get it before work. This dude went and got Gawk 3000 in the daytime before his shift started. Yeah, before the shift start, not after the shift get off.
himself, title and all. Detroit Board of Police Commissioner Ferguson asked deputies if they could help him out. The name drop did not work.
A title or a position doesn't make him above the law.
Now, Brian was elected to keep an eye on the conduct of Detroit police officers, keeping tabs on things like abuse of power and soliciting prostitutes.
We get people from all walks of life. You would be surprised.
He told media outlets Wednesday it was all a misunderstanding, and the woman unexpectedly jumped in his truck. He was trying to kick her out.
Yo, did you hear that excuse? I gotta play that over again, y'all. I gotta give y'all that one again.
Let's Wednesday. It was all a misunderstanding, and the woman unexpectedly jumped in his truck. He was trying to kick her out.
She just so happened to have her head in your lap when the undercovers, hey, get off of my lap. Get off of my lap. Oh, you gotta get out of my truck. Oh my God, get out of my truck. Girl, how you get in this truck over here on Schoolcraft and Schaefer? Get on out of here. Oh, you gotta get out of my truck, dog. This is a misunderstanding. I was trying to get her out out of this dark alley in the daytime before work on a known strip where the prostitutes is hanging at.
Ferguson was cited for indecent and obscene conduct, and his truck was towed. It's what Captain Bates' team does day in and day out, countywide. He says it's a quality of life issue.
What if it was on the end of your block? If your family, your spouse, your kids were seeing that type of activity in your neighborhood, would it bother you?
Right across the street from the church. That's a church right there. Y'all know that, right? Y'all do that. That's a church right across the street from the church. You go over there getting your dome cracked in.
We received a statement from Ferguson a short time ago. It says in part, today multiple media outlets released information alleging indecent conduct this morning. The allegation is untrue and the situation a big misunderstanding.
If he wind up getting fired, I'll pay him to come and do an interview. Come on over and sit on the black couch and don't do coke in the media. Don't do coke in the media. Don't do coke in the bathroom studios. We gonna get that set. We gonna get the real story from you, big dog.
I do not want this personal matter to become a distraction from the important oversight work this board has to do. For that reason, I am making the decision to step back from the board meetings for a time.
But you know one thing about black people, though. He said, I'm stepping back from the board meetings. He did not say that he resigning. He said, listen, I don't know what y'all talking about. See, one thing about black people, white people, once they get caught up in doing something, they say, you know what? I'm feeling so shamed. I'm going to resign from the position in order to make sure that everybody else can do their job effectively. Black people be like, listen, I'm going to take some step back. I'm going to go ahead and try to get my mind clear. Make sure that the board meetings, I want y'all to be able to have the meetings without distractions because we got the media here, but I'm not fucking quitting my job, though. Y'all going to have to take me out, take me to jail, throw away the key. Listen, black people ain't quitting their job. You got to drag them out. That's the difference between white people and black people that get caught up in this nonsense. You going to have to arrest me, convict me, and throw me out of my position. I'm not quitting. Nope. Figure out a way to get me up out of this bitch. I'm not quitting.
Now, before all of this, Ferguson had a pretty sterling reputation, a veteran Little League coach, and sat on several neighborhood improvement committees, and of course, his current position, which he still holds. There is a Detroit Police Board of Commissioners meeting tomorrow night, but as you just heard, Ferguson will be absent. Taryn?
Well, Jessica, certainly this is going to be a lot of work, probably, because it doesn't really look good. And we're talking about where it happened, an area known for prostitution, the time of day. Certainly, he's going to have a hard case to prove.
And from my understanding, the deputies, those undercover guys that we were talking about, Ferguson made no attempt to explain this all away by saying it was a misunderstanding. As far as I heard it, he said, can you guys help me out, indicating that maybe something nefarious was going on.
He said, help me out. Yo, fam, I'm a police commissioner. Yo, cut me some slack. I ain't even gonna lie. If I had seen a police commish, I'm not telling everybody else what they should do. This is why I can't be a police officer. If I seen police commish, I might have let him slide. Man, what you doing with your penis out? What you doing out here, man? Man, don't you gotta wait, bro? See, the problem is that a lot of these cops, they can't really let them slide no more because they got that camera on them right here. They walked up to you. They walk up to you with that camera on, and they be recording at all times. And so now they gonna get in trouble if they let you slide, because they might have let you slide a little bit ago, but you out here getting your wee-wee sucked at 7 in the morning. I can't even say, oh man, it was dark. I didn't really see what happened. I don't know what the camera. You got the camera, you got the audio. So now you over there getting head. And when we play it in court, I got to show this little hood rat over here giving you gawk $3,000 because you gave her $13. You know what I'm saying? I can't even front, though. If I was able to get away with it, I would probably tell him, hey, man, listen, go take care of your family, man. Stop messing with these hoes over here on Schoolcraft and Schaefer, my nigga. You know what's going on. I would have let him slide. I ain't even going to front. I'd have let him slide, and I'd have kept that favor in my back pocket. Hey. You owe me a favor, right, big dog? Yeah, I got you, Time Dog. It's better to keep a favor in the pocket than execute an Order 66 right away. That's how you have leverage. It's always better to keep a favor in the pocket Listen, why you think that Anton, don't be petty. Don't be petty, Jackson. Don't be Patty LaBelle. Don't be petty, Anton. Anyways, let's continue on. I want to read the super chats. I'm curious as to what you guys got to say about this whole situation. Do you think that the police commissioner was just being reasonable? He was just trying to get a little bit of Gog 3000 in the middle of the day before he, went off to his shift, and he just couldn't hold it in, and so he had a lapse in judgment, so we should just let him keep rocking? Or do you think that we need to hold these people accountable because they hold the highest office in the land? Huh? I'm curious as to what you guys think before we move over into the next segment of the show. Let me read some of these super chats. Y'all out of here, out of control. God damn it, Tazzy. Threw the 100 ball at me, says, blessings to you and your family, Anton. Hope everybody is well today. We are doing just great, my friend, and I am very, very thankful to have you as a part of my tribe, my bag chasers. Let me go ahead and give you another round of applause. We're going to double up like Jay-Z and R. Kelly's album that they try to act like they didn't make together. We're going to double up on the claps. Shout out to you, Tazzy. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for rocking out with me. I appreciate you, big dog, and thank you for supporting the platform. Edwin Butler is in the building. Shout out to Edwin. Says, I have been watching you and disagreeing with you on something. I have been running from the truth. You are absolutely correct. What you've been saying, I need your help on my business. I'm tired of being a victim. Let me first give you a round of applause. And the reason why I want to give this super chat a round of applause before we move over into the next thing, right, is because I need people to understand the difference between somebody telling you what you want to hear in order to pander to you versus somebody telling you the uncomfortable truth, even if it separates you from them for a period of time, right? And the reason why this super chat is so important, and the reason why I got to give you a level of respect, a lot of love and respect, Edwin, is because most people don't understand that your friend is the person that's going to tell you the truth, whether or not it hurts you or it hurts y'all relationship or not. Because I want what's best for you, right? And so all of these people continuing to pander to y'all and telling y'all what y'all want to hear just so that they can build an audience or try to get a platform, that ain't what we do here, right? I'm going to tell you not your truth, not my truth, the uncomfortable truth, because it is best for you, understanding that this is a long-term game that we playing. We're not playing it for no short-term subscribers. We're not playing it for no short-term likes. We doing this thing and we building it one person at a time, and you let your tribe hear what it is that you got to say. And so I got to give you a lot of credit, Edwin. Hit me up, Anton Daniels, 413@gmail.com. Send me an email. We need to have a conversation and sit down and really deep dive into this thing. And now you're prepared to be able to have a conversation because you had to come to the realization on your own. It wasn't anything that I told you. All I did was unlock you, and then you had to come to the conclusion that this is what was best for you. So shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Send me an email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. I rock with you, Edwin. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty in the building, always coming through with the fireball and dropping it off of my lap. I appreciate you. Aaron out here in the building with the 10 ball says, come to the front of the congregation, but you've been ignoring these Detroit problems. They squabbling, y'all. Yeah. No, Detroit has been on the up and up. We've been taking care of business. Also, shout out to Aaron says, not the Detroit police commissioner caught like Eddie Murphy or Dwight Howard. Persevere Data TV is in the building. Says, just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. No barking from the dogs. Yeah, shout out to Ice Cube. Ice Cube, I rock with you. You know what you're doing. Cliff is in the building. What's up to my brethren? Says, bro, your voice sound raspy. Rita mix up some. Actually, my voice sound a lot better than it did yesterday and the day before. Rita mix up some honey, lemon, garlic, 2 teaspoons before bed, 2 teaspoons in the morning. Yeah, she been taking care of me. I can't even front. Aaron is in the building. Shout out to Aaron. Says, he got a happy beginning. AJ Moran is in the building. I appreciate you. Says, nah, she jumped in my truck. I was trying to get her off of me. She was like a mosquito. Man, that was the wildest excuse that I've never seen. Don't the police commissioner know he got the right to remain silent? He should just not say nothing. I don't know why these dudes keep forgetting that. Persevere Data TV says, I guess he got a bit too close to the work, huh? I wonder how many of these dudes actually take advantage of the women that they be having. Well, let me be quiet. Trey D is in the building. I appreciate you, Trey D. Thank you for the 10 ball and holding me down, big dog. Marriage, politics, and sports is in the building. Says, just what we were talking about on your live last night. Men seem powerless in the sexual marketplace, no matter how old or accomplished they are. They always have this lapse of judgment, and I'm not sure why. Aaron is in the building again with the 5 ball. Says, this should be that freeze frame moment in the movies. I guess we're all wondering how I got here. Facts. P. Rothstein, 216, I appreciate you. Shout out to you, big dog. Says, Anton, if the police commissioner, why would the police tell on him? They must not like this guy. He was dead wrong. He just wanted a little cap. Well, let me tell you why. Because he's the police commissioner of the Detroit police, and that was the Wayne County sheriffs. The sheriffs is a whole nother police department. You know what I'm saying? So Detroit is within Wayne County, amongst a bunch of other cities, but the Wayne County sheriffs probably don't know that nigga. That's why he had to say who his name was. They were like, man, we don't know you. You ain't our friend. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he had got caught by some Detroit police, he might have been able to get away with that. But he got set up out of Wayne County, so he knew that it wasn't no Detroit police in the area, but he had no insight on the Wayne County that was scoping out the location. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he got caught up. Sheriffs and the counties is two different people. You know what I'm saying? Bam Bam Lynch is in the building. I appreciate you. Says, I'm not snitching. I'm getting a better job. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Jadis popped up on the panel last night. Says, no snitching is a problem in the community. Aaron says he should have said he was undercover working on a case. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that. That would have been a better excuse. Bio 1656 says, officer, I don't know how I got that in her mouth. I'm gonna use that one day. I don't know how that happened. Shout out to Pete Rothstein in the building. Says, we need to know what his wife looked like. I don't even think it really matter, because if you dealing with a chick that got 2 different sandals on, that got ashy legs, that's walking the streets and coming in and giving you some head, you got bigger problems on your hand, big dog. Electrician 480 is in the building. Says, salute Anton and to the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We appreciate y'all. We rock with y'all. Let's move on to the next thing. Steven, my boy. Steven, my boy, is back in the news, and he decided to go on his platform. And for some reason, it sounded like he was issuing the throwdown and the challenge, right? Because there was an article that was written about him, specifically about First Take, which is a show that is his and that he pilots and that he oversees. Specifically, I believe that First Take was the show that he kicked Max Kellerman off of. It was a show that basically him and Skip Bayless had came together off of. I'm not sure if it was called First Take back then. But him and Skip Bayless had a good thing going. Skip Bayless left, started Undisputed. He still kept First Take. They struggling a little bit. So Stephen A. has some things to say about some people that had some criticism about him and what First Take was becoming and whether or not he could still compete in the marketplace. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to skim through this a little bit.
You don't hear me attacking certain subjects very, very often.
And I'm going to speed it up a little bit also.
One of those subjects is anything pertaining to First Take, ESPN, what's written. I pride myself on being a big boy. I can take it. It doesn't matter to me what people say most of the time. And I'll confess to you, one of the biggest reasons it doesn't matter is because I know at any given moment I can reach out and touch folks anytime I want to. So why do I need to worry about it? But there
Stephen A. be talking big shit, don't he?
are certain times where enough's enough.
Y'all said that the name was Cold Pizza. Yeah, it was Cold Pizza. And then they changed it over. You're right.
Enough's enough. And, you know, I've listened to quite a few people over the last few weeks, particularly.
And I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. I appreciate everybody that's holding me down. Thank you to Tazzy, big time, dog.
Since the layoffs occurred at ESPN, especially Dan Le Batard, who I'll get into in just a few minutes. But, you know, The Athletic wrote some article about ESPN's First Take.
I'm going to speed it up a little bit
The
more.
article was entitled, Skip and Stephen A. Embraced Debate, Played the Hits, and Changed TV. Sounds very flattering. Very touching, I might add. If you just read the headline, it sounds very touching. Don't y'all agree? Don't y'all agree? It seems very, very touching, right? When you're emotionally taken back by the headline, I mean, really, really nice. Until you read the damn thing. And when you read it, it was basically a puff piece and an endorsement for Skip Bayless. Now, let me say something.
I think that Skip Bayless, I shouldn't say this because then they're going to say that I'm picking a white man over the black man. I think that Skip Bayless is more talented when it comes to putting together platforms from scratch than Stephen A. Smith. I think that Skip Bayless puts on a better product. I don't know if you want to call it talent. I don't want to know if you want to call it identifying talent. Skip Bayless put on Stephen A. Smith. Skip Bayless put on Shannon Sharp. I think that Skip Bayless, when he get on vacation, he going to surprise y'all and he going to put on something else that's great too. I think that y'all going to put some respect on Skip Bayless' name. I think that Skip Bayless is definitely one of the GOATs.
I have no problem. What a nice piece for Skip Bayless. Haven't spoken in a while. We haven't worked together for 7 years. As I repeated and reiterated on this show and various others, I will always be grateful for what Skip Bayless has done for my career. Regardless of how Charles Barkley feels about him or a plethora of athletes or other people, you're not going to get me to throw shade on my guy. We don't have to speak very often. We live two completely different lives. We're very, very busy and all of this other stuff. But the one thing that I have never failed to acknowledge is that Skip Bayless jump-started First Take. And he will always be synonymous with First Take. So anybody that wants to give him love for that, I don't have a problem with it. I'd be the first to do it. But when you write a piece like The Athletic did, and you're quoting everybody from Jamie Horowitz to Skip Bayless to Rob Parker to Rochelle Marcazine to former producer Kevin Reeder, to Jay Crawford to John Skipper, they're all gone from ESPN.
So basically what they telling you, Stephen A. Smith, is that you ain't got the juice, big dog. They saying that you not him. You are not Himothy. They saying that the fact that Undisputed was whooping y'all ass First Take, and the fact that a lot of these other podcasts that's upcoming, and Pat McAfee, and the fact that a lot of people are going from the network is showing that you're not really doing the thing that you should be doing as far as competing with the numbers, big dog. Your show is not as... Yo, how many people is tuned in to First Take in the morning outside of whatever a big headline is? How many people is tuned in to First Take in the mornings outside of a big headline? Or just watching it as a clip on YouTube? Very few people are doing that. But I want to hear what he got to say.
Great people. I talk to Jamie Horowitz all the time. Rochelle's one of the most wonderful women you'd ever want to meet in your life. John Skipper and I just spoke the other day. I'm not throwing any shade on them. I'm saying when you're writing a piece, and it's supposed to be about First Take, and you're talking about everybody from the past, what exactly is it that you're trying to say? We got an executive VP at ESPN who has overlooked and overseen ESPN for the last 6.5 years minimum.
That shit been trash on the low. Shout out to Jonica Brown. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. That shit's been trash, low key. For the last 6.5 years, whoever has been stewarding and overseeing what's happening on production over on ESPN is just absolutely trash, man. I mean, if we just going to keep it 100.
There is one sentence from him. Talking to me was like damn near pulling teeth. I mean, let's just call it like it is. And not only was that the truth, but it was also like, the days of past. And this is what First Take is. First Take has changed over the years. But that's not why I bring up this subject.
For the worse.
I bring up this subject because whether it's Skip, who's going to be back on the air on Undisputed on August 28th, there's a promo. Whether it's
Connie said First Take's ratings are higher than Undisputed even before Shannon left. I'm not when I evaluate the greatness of a show, and you got to remember, Connie, one of the reasons why it's important to take context into consideration is, well, who's your core audience? How did they build it? Are they building it from scratch? Did they leapfrog off of advertising dollars and coming up, you know what I'm saying, building it and how it's being built, new talent, what platforms is it being viewed on? Because see, one person can say, oh, okay, well, First Take is better than Undisputed based off of the numbers. But I would say that that's a deceptive analogy because Undisputed was its own entity. See, First Take, even when it comes to YouTube, right, and stuff like that, right? And I study these things. First Take is largely leaning on Disney and ESPN's prowess to promote it, right? And this is why when you start to see a lot of these dudes go on YouTube and stuff like that, it's a completely different conversation because their ability to be able to generate revenue and audiences is largely leaning off of that machine that they come from. But here's the thing. First Take and a lot of their content is not based off of a First Take separate channel. They leveraged ESPN's already big user base and subscriber base, which I'm glad that YouTube is now changing the algorithm a little bit differently and that you got to put out good content that people like and want to continue to look for versus just automatically as being recommended to you because First Take leaned on what Disney and ESPN had already built in order to continue to try to push those numbers up, right? But when you seen what happened with Undisputed and the content and what people were talking about and how they built that from scratch and who was being copied as far as duplicate channels trying to trying to create the same thing and all of that other type of stuff, Undisputed was exponentially growing further, right? They built theirs from scratch. Fox Sports Radio is completely different than the Undisputed channel, right? Which is completely separate from how Disney manages their stuff and that ESPN puts their stuff up there separately, right? So you talking about a legacy audience or a legacy platform that's leveraging, which they should, and I don't think that it's a bad strategy, but when you're talking about the pulse of the streets and the people and what's growing, one of the reasons why analysts, and here's a key for y'all, and this is how y'all can look at another metric when you're trying to determine what it is that you want to invest in. One of the key metrics is growth, right? Because if you're just comparing ratings, it's deceptive, but you have to start looking at key measurements when it comes to growth. And when you're looking at growth, one of the reasons why investors tend to reward companies for growth, and one of the reasons why you start to look at different companies, start to break out different segments of how it is that they're reporting to the general audience every quarter, is because they know that investors are looking at what it is that people are looking to do long term. So, for example, we know that Apple, and this is a completely different situation, but I'm going to bring it back into what we're talking about right now. We know that Apple already has a mature market when it comes to growth with the iPhone, right? But Apple has one of the biggest growing segments when it comes to the services division. And so investors and analysts are rewarding Apple not just with their new products that they're bringing out, but also different parts of their businesses in which they grow, in which Apple is still trying to grow the iPhone market over in India and China. But my point is that growth is a better metric to see what the pulse of the streets is and what the projection of the company is going to be versus day-to-day ratings, right? Because if you're looking at ESPN, their ratings are actually going down, which is one of the reasons why they got rid of all the talent and they can't sell the same level of advertising, and Disney was looking to do the layoffs. So I don't just look at it just based off of numbers on TV, because most of the people that got a pulse on what's going on, they don't even watch TV anymore, right? The different ways in which ESPN is starting to promote, they don't even know how to package ESPN properly with their new Disney Plus package, right? And so what I'm trying to break down to y'all is you need to look at the metrics a little bit differently from just looking at the numbers purely based off of what's being shown on TV. That's all I'm saying. I just want to break it down to you.
Somebody talking about the days of yesteryear, whether it's The Athletic today, whether it's some other outlet another day, whether it's Dan Le Batard another day, you know.
Reading that super chat shortly. I'm reading all super chat shortly. Shout out to Eileen.
First Take is mine's, baby. And it's Molly Karam's. You ever heard of a guy named Pete McConville? You haven't. Do you know that when First Take was Cold Pizza before it got named First Take, there was a debate segment within the show Cold Pizza? It was created and produced by Pete McConville, who's now a big-time producer for First Take. Along with my man Tom DeCourty, along with my man James Dunn, miss my man Antoine Lewis. Casualty of the layoffs, God bless him. Did a great job for us for a decade. But it's a different day.
When you talk about layoffs a lot of time, you got to understand this. When it comes to entertainment, which is completely different from production, when it comes to entertainment, you don't lay off people that are producing. You don't lay off people that are producing. You don't go cheaper. You don't do none of that. You give the bag to the. That's why Pat McAfee got such a big bag. It's not that they laid everybody off because they needed to get rid of people. Is that they're trying to rebrand and redo how it is that they do things from a business perspective and allocating that same budget over into the people that's already producing.
And when I sit around and I will listen to people bloviate about where ESPN, it used to be this way. What the hell y'all talking about? What you talking about past tense for? We ain't going anywhere. The reason why I wanted to start the day off with this subject on this podcast is because I see the promos for other people. I get the impression of what people are wishing for. I'm not going away. I thought, fellas.
Just the other day, Stephen A. was talking about might be me getting laid off next. Either somebody put the battery in his back and said, listen, man, you're not getting laid off. Stop talking that shit. Put your big boy pants on. Because literally, just last week, Stephen A. dropped on this very same thing, and he said, listen, maybe me next. Shout out to all of my colleagues. So either he was gaslighting and he was trying to put himself in a position to where he can get a bigger bag or whatever, so on and so forth. Or now he decided to put his big boy pants on and start to compete, which I like this shit. I like this version of Stephen A. Smith because now it's saying, listen, all right, y'all want to compete? Y'all think y'all better than me? I see y'all promos. I see what it is that y'all trying to build. We gonna see who gonna do the bigger. We gonna see who gonna put on the best product. We gonna see who. He's saying, all right, well then let's compete. Let's compete. I don't think he got nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the fact that he's saying let's compete. I don't believe that he got nothing for us. I don't think there's nothing that he can do that's gonna stop the rain that's coming down on them. ESPN, First Take. I'm not going for it, but I like his vigor. I like his candidness. I like the fact that he's ready to compete. I think that this is dope. Prove us wrong.
I thought I couldn't be more fired up about this upcoming year. You think I'm fading? You think First Take is going to fade? You think...
Yes, I do think it's fading.
...that we going to sit up there and lay down and just let others come along, or we going to take them out? Let's go. Let's go. I can't wait. I might come off vacation early because I got time in August, too. I might come off vacation early in August. I can't wait. Hell y'all think this is? Everybody talking about what it used to be. We're number one. And I'm not just talking about First Take. I'm talking about ESPN. See, I got this little agitation that swells up inside of me when I see people talking about the network, particularly people who used to work there. Because if you notice something about me, I will come to my own defense all day, every day. You come at me, I'll come right back at you at my discretion. But what I won't do is constantly lament an employer that was once good enough for me to take money from. That's BS. It really, really is. I'm listening to Dan Le Batard, and I guess that it was some...
This is like WWE, to be honest with you. I don't believe it. I'm not going for it. I think that the number, we going to see. We going to see. I'm taking everything into consideration. When I see how this plays out, I'm taking everything into consideration. And let's be clear. I'm a little bit delayed because I've been a little bit sick and under the weather and everything, but I'm coming for a slice of that pie too. I want that sports pie. I want that sports pie, and everything that we doing over here is 100% independent, ladies and gentlemen. Everything we do, every piece of production, every piece of promotion, every talent that you see rock with me, whoever it is, I want a piece of that pie too.
Some show from the other day, because obviously it was in the aftermath of the layoffs and a sad day, the worst day in the history of ESPN and all of this stuff because of the layoffs. Of course it was a bad day. Of course that's not something you celebrate. Of course you take no joy in folks losing their jobs. I know that, and as I will remind this audience, as sad as I am, and as wishful as I am that every single one of those folks land on their feet and ultimately recapture a prosperous career that they had at ESPN, that they do it somewhere else, I will remind everybody they're casualties of a layoff. Because ESPN lost $5.5 billion. The parks, and in theaters. Not the situation in Florida with Governor DeSantis and the don't say gay policy, or what was labeled that. That ain't the reason. Contrary to what y'all want to believe. See, y'all talking emotion. I have facts. That is not true. Parks, movie theaters, and sporting events disappearing. It's a lot of money to make up for. That's what happened. But y'all talk about, oh my Lord, I'm looking at...
No. Okay, so this is the truth. New operating structure. They brought in the old CEO, which is Bob Iger. They want to cut costs because they want to cut the equivalent of $5.5 billion by eliminating 7,000 jobs, or 4% of its global, the global workforce, right? And this was back in February 2008. It's not that ESPN lost $5.5 billion, is that they want to cut costs by $5.5 billion. And the true nature of it is that ESPN, and this is the thing that people don't understand, ESPN has a lot of debt. When they bought out everything that came along with Avatar and all of the movie studios or whatever, which, then they was competing against Comcast. And a lot of people don't know the history of it. And so, this is one of the reasons why you got to keep these guys in sports, because they know sports, but they don't know the entirety of the situation. I'm not even sure they're familiar with what's going on with their own company. But one of the nails in Disney's coffin was not just what was going on in their fight with the Florida governor, not just what was going on with the parks, especially during the pandemic, not just what was going on with the lack of revenue that's being generated from over there on ESPN, and not just with the bloated, overinflated salaries that they was paying a lot of these guys, but they were competing for content in the streaming wars, especially against the likes of a Netflix and HBO and all of this stuff. So what they did was they competed for different content in which they went against Comcast in order to pay for it, which is how it is that they was able to get the stuff like the avatars and stuff like that, right? So now they're trying to figure out a return on investment. But the other side of that is they're trying to cut costs because they have huge ballooning debt payments because they're sitting on a ton of debt as a company, right? They're not generating as much revenue, especially with the latest Marvel movies that they were depending on. And so that's why they brought the old CEO back, which is Bob Iger, and then they got to cut over 7,000 jobs, right? So it's not that Disney is losing $5.5 billion, is that they're trying to cut costs because they're making money, but they're also under the thumb of being able to make these debt payments, especially considering that interest rates are going off, and there's more to the story than that. So if they're going to allocate their dollars, they're going to allocate their dollars towards people that are already proven, and then things that can generate revenue, and then they're going to take the contracts that they have, especially the ones that they extended, into consideration to do so. So, there's more context to it. It's not just, the parks lost money and that. No, the whole company is losing money, and they're under the thumb in order to try to compete with the likes of the First Takes and the Disney Pluses, and is trying to come in and compete against Netflix and Apple Plus and so on and so forth. That's the truth.
Elamin Hassan, I'm sorry to mess up your name, Elamin. You know that. Got love and respect for you. He on the Dan Le Batard show, and he's talking too. And I'm looking at Dan Le Batard, and I'm still disgusted. Even though Dan Le Batard is my friend, and I love him. But I'm still disgusted about how he came at me with that question on his damn show. I hate what you and Skip Bayless have done to sports. Like his ass has been doing accounting. Did you have highly questionable? Was our daddy on the show with us? That was you. You. By the way, I love Mr. Le Batard. Papa De Le Batard. No shade on him either. Please don't take this that way. That's not what I mean by that.
No,
I'm talking about your brother.
Don't apologize.
You was on the show just looking at your father saying hi and giving him a hug and a kiss. You were debating. That's what you were doing.
Stand on your square,
It
Stephen
amazes
A.
me how somebody like a Dan Le Batard will sit up there and lament the state of affairs in an industry you are participating in. You sitting on the air, I don't know how long ago it was, with Jamel Hill talking about how, you know what, it's a great thing you left. Really? Okay. Probably is. Because I know you're gifted at what you do, and you're a great person. You know I love you, but I'm getting on Dan Le Batard about this a little bit. Why is ESPN always a topic of discussion like this?
Because y'all number one, right?
Coming off like we're losing. Subscribers have diminished. We're in 72 million homes now, not the 90 plus million or even 100 million that we were years ago. Do you have any idea how dominant ESPN in the sports landscape?
Nah, y'all losing. Y'all edge. You're losing a lot of edge. Real talk. Let's be clear. You throwing the marketing numbers out and stuff like that, but ESPN has lost their edge. Everybody know it. ESPN is like a hurt dog. It's a wounded lion, and people smell blood. The young bulls is coming, and the young bulls want a part of it. And it's a lot of independent channels and a lot of independent companies. And listen, all of that leveraging what y'all got going on as far as Disney's prowess and in a lot of different households because you still attached to the cable companies and stuff of that. That's cool. Like that's cute and all of that. But the reality is that people smell blood in the water. And that's just the truth. People smell blood in the water and they see that y'all spot is open to be taken over. So ESPN has spent a lot of money to market ESPN by being able to show basketball games. And see, that's the part that they're not telling y'all, right? It's not that they just creating better content than everybody else. Is that they spend a lot of money or they've spent a lot of money historically being tied to a lot of these organizations such as the NFL, the NBA. They get to host some of their games. They get to host, a lot of the playoff games and stuff like that. And so people have to tune into that in order to have access to certain things, which is dope. But when it comes to this content creation game and on-air talent and being able to put stuff together and producing shows, yeah, y'all hurt. Y'all hurt. And I'm gonna be reading Super Chat shortly. Y'all hurt. It's blood in the water. And people coming for y'all neck. And that's what happens in competition. That's what happens in a capitalistic society. It's on.
We're number one. No one's close. No one's close. Subscribers have dipped because we have a younger generation with the advent of social media and the digital stratosphere.
Subscribers have dipped because we have a new social media strategy, and with the advent of social media, we got a younger generation of people that's watching it. Okay.
And they found different options other than linear television to watch a product. It's very simple. Dan Le Batard is one of the most brilliant people you will ever meet. He knows this. What you bitching for? What you don't have in subscribers, you have in the digital stratosphere. Lesson to everybody out there in today's day and age and the direction that the business is going in, if you don't have a footprint within the realms of social media, chances are it's going to be challenging for you to maintain being gainfully employed. Did I say anything disrespectful? Did I say anything false? It's that simple. How do you not know that? Of course you know it. But we don't want to acknowledge that because it's ESPN. We want to sit up there and look at ESPN like the big bad wolf. And then some of you fools out there forgetting that I own this damn podcast. This is my podcast. I decide what I'm going to talk about. I decide what I'm going to say.
Nigga. Let's be for real. You know it's certain subjects you can't broach. And because if you do, and it's a conflict of interest, they're going to be calling you into that front office. Yeah, you can pick what you want to talk about, but just tread carefully.
You've seen me on television for years working for ESPN, saying what the hell I wanted to say. All of a sudden, I'm a tippy toe now that I got my own platform that I own and I operate, that I pay for.
I'm going to try to make it available for y'all to be able to cam up tomorrow. I'm going to be in New York tomorrow, so I got to test my Wi-Fi connection. But I'm going to do the show live from New York tomorrow.
Drugs? What drug are you sniffing? That's not how I roll. But the facts alter, or at least give me cause to pause for a second. Let me give you some of these numbers, y'all. Because actually, being at ESPN, I can simply call up stats and numbers. Do y'all care to hear any of them? I mean, does it matter to you? Does it matter
to
y'all?
Yeah, I want to hear the numbers. I want to hear the numbers.
ESPN Digital remained number one in sports category with 103.5 million unique visitors.
100. Okay, so let me break this down for y'all from an analytical perspective. Hold on. Anton is over here typing because I'm on my regular job while I'm doing whatever it is that we do. You know how us black folks do. Anton got to respond to the people. I had to go over there and get my computer real quickly. Unique visitors is much different than a visitor, right? So let's say, for example, you go to a site and you go to multiple different sites and then you leave and then you come back, right? that's two visitors, but a unique visitor is one person doing the same thing multiple different times. So he's saying that it's a unique visitor, meaning that's a unique person. Each individual person is a unique visitor versus how many hits you get to a site, right? A hit, you can go to a site and give it 20 hits by going to different portions of the site or whatever, so on and so forth, right? And so it's different metrics that we use in order to determine whether or not you're putting out good content. So for example, somebody can get a lot of views on a video, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they create compelling content to be able to retain an audience. They may have had a great thumbnail, they may have had a good title, but then when the people start watching the video, they don't stick around long enough to be able to actually listen to what they're saying any longer than 30 seconds because it's not compelling, right? So, watch time factors into that, right? Views are cool. Being able to retain an audience, that's more effective. How long do they watch? How long did it take for them to be able to click off? All of those things are different metrics, unique visitors versus a hit. So he's trying to break down the numbers to substantiate that, how much greater ESPN is. I want to know how much greater First Take is, but let's just go ahead and see the numbers. I haven't seen this part.
ESPN Digital achieved its best May ever by unique visitors, surpassing its next competitor by a record-breaking margin of 39.8 million. The runner
May. What month we in? July?
would be Yahoo Sports, who's pretty damn good, by the way.
He's saying ESPN Digital. So I'm assuming that if somebody go over to the ESPN application or if somebody go over to the ESPN site, they want to see who got the next big contract, all of that stuff, right? So Yahoo Sports is a website where people can go to and they say, oh, what happened during the fight? Let me see what the score is. ESPN Digital is like the website where people go in and they see what happened in the boxing match, what happened to the scores. They want to see what the line is on the numbers, all of that stuff, right? So this is what he's breaking down.
CBS is behind that. Bleacher Report is behind that. Sports Illustrated is behind that. Minute Media, the Players Tribune, is behind that. STN Video is behind that. USA Today Sports Media Group is behind that. Whistle Network is behind that. Major League Baseball is behind that. What y'all talking to us like we losing for? And I say we because that's my day job. What y'all think y'all doing? I'm just tired of listening to folks bantering back and forth and acting like, listen, it's hard times, it's hard times, it's hard times. I mean, what has happened to the worldwide leader? What has happened to ESPN? Business has happened. May of 2003, ESPN laid off 400 staffers. Where were y'all then? Oh, you were employed by ESPN. November 2015, ESPN laid off 300 staffers. Where were you then? Oh, you were employed by ESPN. April 2017, 100 on-air talent was laid off. What was the number the other day, fellas? 20. 100 were laid off.
Yeah, but it's a difference between laying off staffers and laying off talent. Because when you start laying off talent, that's how you know it's blood in the water. It's a completely different thing. If you lay off an administrator, if you lay off a producer, you lay off a camera guy, you can easily replace those people, right? But when you're talking about the face and the representation of a company, it's a completely different conversation. And so I think that Stephen A. is smart enough to be able to know this.
Laid off in 2017, 100. November 2017, 150 staffers.
So it's been blood in the water for a long time.
6 months later, 150 staffers laid off. November 2020, 300 staffers laid off. Let me do my math here. 800, 1,100, 1,250 folks have been laid off by ESPN since May of 2013.
Blood.
No one was surprised.
In the water.
Because when you're represented by a company like Disney and you have stockholders and shareholders to answer to, and you have budgets that you have to meet, and the mandate is that you lost $5.5 billion, this is what comes with it.
I'm wondering, because I'm not an investor in Disney, so I don't really know. I'm trying to figure out if Disney breaks out the numbers of how it is. I'm going to try to find that out for y'all tomorrow, and I'm going to break this out in order to try to substantiate this argument. Because what I'm curious is, and shout out to Ash, I'm about to read these super chats shortly. This is enough. We don't need to see any more. What I'm curious about, sometimes, a lot of times I just read the title, y'all send me the videos, and then I review them here. What I'm curious about is whether or not Disney breaks out individual numbers as to what unit is generating what. So the movies division is generating X amount of dollars. ESPN is generating X amount of dollars. Disney Plus is generating X amount of dollars. But I know they break out the subscriber growth numbers, but often at times they don't always break out individual segments to where you can actually know whether or not it's losing or winning. They have it all as like, hey, the media group is doing this and this is doing, and the movie segment is doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always fully broken out because ESPN or Disney, they own a lot of different units. And so they'll say something and they'll put a nice name to it and they'll say the digital part of it, right? But then we don't know that the digital aspect of it may not just be ESPN. It could be including Disney Plus, which also has ESPN content on it. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be YouTube TV and they have ESPN content on it. So I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive. And this is one of the reasons why I always tell y'all, when you invest in something, you need to understand it fully. You got to go through. You got to see the numbers. You got to see where they're growing at, where they having attrition at. Are they having natural attrition, or are they just trying to hurry up and get people laid off? Are they implementing artificial intelligence? Are they sourcing their budgets and using it effectively to find new talent? Are they curating new talent? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to deep dive into that, and I'm going to find out what those true numbers are if they are available for us. Because if they're available, then they're going to be publicly available. But I'm going to find out what those numbers are very, very shortly, and we're going to figure it out. Let me read some of these super chats. But I do like Stephen A. talking that shit. Because talk your what y'all say, talk your shit, King. Aaron says, hey, was interviewing a witness. She was talking into the mic, talking about that, when he was getting the head, the commissioner. Shout out to Aaron. Janika. Shout out to Janika. Shout out to Janika and Aaron. Says, why does Stephen A's audio and visuals suck in his YouTube clips? Blood and water. Your production is 1,000 times better. And my camera is better. Than his. Little details matter. Great work, Anton. Thank you. Thank you guys for acknowledging the effort, because we're going to continue to evolve. And so within the next couple months, you're going to see even more growth when it comes to what this thing looks like. Shout out to Johnnika Brown. I appreciate you. Junior Hall says, y'all not messing with Indy and skating AD. Fam, who out here is worried about Indy when it comes to skating? Hold on one second. I'll be right with you. Don't worry about it. Let me get them. I'm gonna leave that super chat started for a minute, because we're gonna fix that. Shout out to Sir Molly Mall is in the building. Says First Take has better numbers since Skip left, and Stephen A has been more innovative with the show. Undisputed was good, but the last two to 3 years got stale. No, Undisputed is excellent. I think that Undisputed is excellent. Shout out to Molly Mall. I appreciate you. Eileen M is in the building. Says your channel has helped me to grind smarter and harder in my businesses. Please continue the amazing work that you do. I need to sign up for coaching calls with you. And Aline, make sure that you're in the Patreon. If you're not already, I'm not sure. We might have to check and see if Aline is in the Patreon. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Aline, are you a bag chaser? I know you're a bag chaser. I already know. I'm not even going to question it. I apologize for not even acknowledging the fact that you're a bag chaser. Aline, come kick it with your boy. Thank you for the 20 ball. I appreciate you. Aaron is in the building again. Aaron says, I don't like Skip, but he built 2 shows from scratch. And to be real, he built the whole FS1 network. Got to give him credit. Stephen A. Smith ain't on his level. Shots. Everybody. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron also says, Dan Levitar ain't it though. Agreed. 100% agreed. Justin K., my dog, hit me with 2 balls back to back. Pause. Says, big dog, I need to tap in. I've been killing it with the flipping, but now it's time to step it up. I want to get into luxury, new construction, but I got opportunities to get into commercial. I'm lost. I'm so scared of commercial, Justin. Yeah, me and you going to have a conversation, bro. I'm so scared to get into commercial building. You also says, Side note, I set a goal to flip 36 homes this year. I just closed on number 32 on Monday. I'm out here killing it. Average ARV around 550 to 650. Hashtag bag chasing. Y'all know Justin K is in the bag chasers, right? Some of y'all may be new to this channel. But Justin has been in my network for a long time. Justin is one of my peoples. Good brother. Met his wife. Shout out to the bag chasers and the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Justin, hit me up, big dog. Patrice Jean Baptiste is in the building. Says Disney CEO Bob Iger is also looking to sell an equity stake to ESPN and sell off his cable networks and ABC. Usually, a lot of times, let me tell y'all what else happens when they're looking to sell off an entity. They're looking to offload debt, right? They're looking to offload debt. See, most people can't give you all this game because they don't understand the markets. They don't understand money. They don't understand how company mergers and offshoot acquisitions and getting rid of certain companies. Usually, a lot of times, what also happens when a company is looking to spin off or sell off a company is much different than an acquisition. So when Disney went into a bidding war against Comcast, they had to sell off Fox Sports in order for it not to be a monopoly. Then Fox came in and started kicking their ass and so on and so forth. The rest is history. But a lot of times what happens is when a company is looking to spin off or sell off a specific unit, they're also able to offload the debt, right? So they spin that off into a new publicly traded company. And so it's a new issuing, a new offering, right? And then they're also able to get rid of the debt that's then holding down the company, that's requiring for them to have to make $5.5 billion in cuts in the first place. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on what it is that they're looking to spin off and how much debt goes along with that acquisition or that divestment from that company, because then it creates a healthier company for the one that they're looking for the growth in, right? If they see a part of the business that's dying, they'll throw that off over into the wolves and then they'll saddle it with a bunch of debt and it'll kill the company. You know what I'm saying? And then that healthier company is able to continue to thrive and execute on the vision that they wanted from a digital perspective. So keep that in mind, Patrice Jean. That's a good observation. Shout out to my bag chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Abba's Child is in the building. Says, good morning, Anton. I sent an email about a month ago about my uncle from Detroit wanting to join your sports panel. He will be a great addition. Resend that email to me so I can make sure that's at the top of the chat. I mean, not at the top of the chat, the top in my email box, so I can check that out. Thank you. Brandon is in the building. Shout out to Brandon. Says, just joined the Patreon last night and happy to be a part of the Bag Chasers. Been looking for a community where I can enhance my skills and reach my full potential. Make sure you tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in any of the most recent videos. I appreciate you. Shout out to the new Bag Chasers. Stewie Montage Official is in the building. Says, you cooking. Everybody is competing for the same audience because viewership across the board took a hit. Agreed. Absolutely, positively agreed. Ash, my dog is in the by default. By default, Ash, you're going to get a round of applause by default. Says equity, ESPN Equity Social Progressive Network is not about sports anymore. It's about social liberal agendas. Stopped watching ESPN about 5 years ago, and I'm not coming back. I did too. I do watch some of the clips on YouTube, but I stopped watching them also. They lost their core audience. Optimus Prime is in the building. Says, can I get a please? Please don't go. Optimus Prime, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Shout out to Optimus Prime is in the building. I appreciate you. I rock with you. Make sure if y'all want to get in touch with me, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. But make sure you tap into the Patreon, get that T Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I want to end this live stream on Money Talk. Money Talk. This came across my email this morning, literally this morning, and I said, oh, not Eddie. Eddie is a new citizen. Did they spell that right? It's like the watch. I don't think that they, wait a minute, hold on, that don't even look right. I don't know. Maybe it is right. Citizen. It just don't look right. That Z seemed off for me for some reason. I have no idea. But Eddie is a recent, newly naturalized citizen. Maybe not naturalized is the word, but he's a migrant that has recently been anointed citizenship in the United States of America. And Eddie makes $420,000 a year. I said, listen, I'm not going to watch this video ahead of time. I got to be able to look at it because I need to understand what the fuck Eddie is doing at 34 years old. Is Eddie a bag chaser? Is Eddie a part of the Patreon? I go through and look through the emails and make sure that Eddie is a part of the Patreon. Links in the description as well. Depends on the top of the chat. I need to see what Eddie has got going on in his life and why he's making $420,000 a year. And he's not even naturally from this country. Oh my God, the Blackity Blacks is going to be pissed off at this one. Shout out to my girl, Carrie Spencer. I love you. I'm about to be reading that super chat shortly. I said I need to find out what Eddie got going on. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
I wanted to have the family that I never had as a child. I wanted to provide them with everything that I didn't get to enjoy as a child. Coming from Peru, I always knew that money is important and you only get as far as your efforts. I do my IT consulting business with a partner, and I also work full-time as a cybersecurity contractor. My wife works full-time on the daycare, part-time.
What? Wait a minute. Are you telling me that his wife works too? What is this notion that y'all think that just because we say we want our wives to have the option of work, that they can't work? And then also on top of that, that they're not supposed to be submissive just because they have a job. Let me rewind this for a minute.
Full-time as a cybersecurity contractor. My wife works full-time on the daycare, part-time as a real estate agent. For the snow plowing, we have drivers that work for us during winter. My name is Eddie Nunez. I'm 34 years old, and my wife and I bring in $420,000 a year.
So at what point, just curious, at what point do we stop having conversations about how the system is set up against you and that you can't do it, that you can't build, that you can't be in the house with a woman that don't work also? He said, my wife and I make 420 bands a year. He said, we running a snowplow business in the winter. She a part-time real estate agent. She run a daycare since we got little kids. I got an IT consulting company in addition to my regular job. I know what I heard. Listen, sometimes I'll be a little off and I'll be forgetting shit. But when it started coming to the money, I hear real good. He said, listen, I run a regular information technology. I'm on a regular information technology job. I got an IT consulting company that I run with another partner. I got a snowplow business that I got running in the wintertime. My wife is running the daycare and she a part-time real estate agent. I'm trying to understand where the lack of bag chasing is coming in at. But you know what black people do? They laugh at you when you go and work for the man. It's not about working for the man. It's how much are you maximizing trading in your time for. Shout out to Eddie Nunez.
And I bring in $420,000 a year.
Reading super chat short.
Our life was very difficult back in Peru. My mom really struggled. She saw the assassination of her parents right in front of her. She suffered domestic violence.
You would walk past Eddie every day and wouldn't even be thinking that this dude make a 400, that he got a household income of almost $500,000. Is this dude not giving you the exact blueprint that I've given you for the last 2 to 3 fucking years on this show? We on season 3. What episode are we on? Let me check this out. Let me double check my episodes. I just want to make sure that we all clear right here. We are on season 3, episode 132. Season 3, episode 132 of season 3 specifically. All right? That means that we did hundreds of episodes last year, hundreds of episodes the year before. This is season 3 of the Millionaire Morning Show, episode 132. They keep telling me that college is a scam. They keep laughing at community college. After high school, Eddie took nursing classes at Northern Virginia Community College. Let's continue. Conversation about whether they're legal or not, right? Because that goes without saying. Y'all can have your own debate on that. Y'all know where I stand on immigration. I think that everybody should do it legally. It's not the conversation that we having. We're trying to source, is it work ethic? Is it a lack of social programs? Is it the government not helping you? Is it Biden with the student loan forgiveness? Because this motherfucker right here just told me that because he was illegal at the time, because he had no social security number, he didn't have no social program to be able to lean into in order to get a Pell Grant, in order to get a student loan, to get nothing. So either you pay or you go. Either you figure that shit out, or either you sink or you swim. And so I think a lot of times what happens in our communities is the fact that we do have that safety net is the reason why we make excuses as to why it is that we don't get over and take care of our business. It's the safety net that's preventing you from being great. If you remove the safety net, people are going to start being more intentional and they're going to make better decisions. But because we know that we got that safety net, but because we know that you can go ahead and fuck up and still be able to get a social program, because you know you can leave your household and the government going to give you food stamps and no child left behind and all of this dumb shit, that's why we continue to be in the victim Olympics. Whether he illegal or not, we already know where we stand on that. I'm a conservative. You know where I stand on that. I'm trying to figure out how I can source from what it is that he's been able to do in order to become more successful. Ain't no government handouts and student loans when it comes to Pell Grants and being able to pay for your college. Either you pay your tuition or you get the fuck out.
Decided to get married in secret.
Stephanie's parents said, listen, we gonna get you up out of here if you marry our daughter. If you did marry our daughter, you better go and get an annulment or we gonna have you deported. This is a very
And the judge told me, I'm gonna grant you asylum. You presented a really good case. You explained everything in detail. You defended yourself well in front of the prosecutor. And she also told me, don't ever put your head down for anybody. Be proud of yourself. I felt like I had lost so much time. And I also knew that studying medicine was gonna be extremely expensive. So I decided to pursue a degree in cybersecurity.
So let's back up for a minute. So this dude was so determined, so desperate for success, that every single day that he woke up, now, I know a lot of y'all, y'all done been locked up. You like to go to the prison yard and go work out. And then now y'all got social media in prison. So you over there and you making your TikToks and you doing your water waves. And this dude was in the law library trying to plead his case in order to be able to get asylum. The judge obviously seen something in him, which apparently the judge was right. And she granted him asylum instead of prosecuting him and sending him back, right? So, again, I can't control that. That's between him and the judge, so on and so forth. But the thing that I take away from this is that in both instances in which he enrolled in college, right, he went into fields that he knew was going to generate revenue. And he was so determined to be successful that even at the time that he was facing the most hardest decisions, he said, listen, I'm not making no excuses. This is what I'm going to do. I'll let the fear propel me forward instead of hold me back. And whatever happens, I'm going to just let it fly. I'm going to give every fucking thing that I got. And I'm going to be very, very, very intentional with the programs that I go into if I get another opportunity, because I might even only just get one more shot, and I'm going for this shit. This is what I see. This is what I'm watching right now. So he went back to community college, the same fucking thing I keep telling y'all to do on a regular basis. And he got his associate degree in information technology from Northern Virginia Community College, the same college that he originally enrolled in to go in the nursing program. He switched over and try to go into cybersecurity. So he got his information technology associate's degree. And then he transferred over into a major university, University of Maryland, and got his bachelor's 4 years later.
As soon as I got my associate's degree from Northern Virginia Community College, I started looking for jobs. Any IT job I started applying for. Now I work as a cybersecurity contractor full-time.
So now he's in a cybersecurity as a contractor. And it's a difference between being a contractor and a full-time employee. And I can go into that later if y'all want me to. But now he's decided he became a high-value man like a lot of these women want, right? So now he's making $113,000 a year. He got his wife. And then he didn't just stop there. He didn't go out and buying a BMW. He did literally what I tell y'all to do all the time. Stay down, continue to reinvest your money, don't change your lifestyle, and then you can start to do the things that you want to do long term once you start generating other forms of income.
One of the people that I admired, I saw one interview from him, Mark Cuban, and I remember the phrase he used.
Wait a minute, you don't admire a rapper? Maybe we can go and say we admire Moneybagg Yo, or we get you a Young Dolph. Rest in peace to Young Dolph. Maybe you admire Diddy. You know, we always like to say we admire Jay-Z, Diddy, Beyonce, Kelly Rowland. He said, I admire Mark Cuban.
He said, you only have to be right once. So I had many crazy ideas. And my wife, who was always pushing me from behind, she was like, that's a great idea, let's make it happen.
When you have a great woman behind you, you're able to execute and leverage her talents in order to exponentially grow what it is that you're putting together.
We bought our first truck in 2011, and we got a contract with the Virginia Department of Transportation, pushing snow in the winters, that we were able to buy another truck the next year, and then we bought 2 trucks the following year. We kept buying until we had 10 trucks.
We drove a whole week without stopping, not sleeping. The sand on the sand spreaders will freeze, and one or two of us will have to climb up and literally shovel it, and while the other one was.
I love it when my chicks work. I love to see women that want to get dirty, get their hands dirty. Now, most of the time we'll say, hey, girl, sit down there and stop. Man, that girl is out there hustling. She out there hustling and bringing home the bag and helping to build businesses. A lot of y'all keep trying to understand what's the benefit of being married when you can do it successfully. And it's a difference between a wife and a chick that's for the streets. It's a difference between a woman that's trying to help build a business with you and a woman that's looking to try to get retired. It's a difference between a woman that try to help build a business with you and a woman that's looking for you to retire. A lot of y'all keep telling me when y'all get on these coaching calls, yo, Anton, I don't want my chick to work. And I say, why? What's she going to do in the daytime when the kids, now that the kids is going to school full time? Ooh. What does she keep telling you that she going to do? Clean up? Man, if you don't put that little hussy to work, if you don't get that chick something to do, she going to be over there cheating on you. That chick is over there talking about climbing on top of a snow truck and getting the thing unfrozen.
Driving so we could start throwing the snow.
They made 100. Hold on, we're not going to skip past that.
The snow.
One week, they snowplow company made 154 bands in 1 week, and they didn't sleep. You know why? Everybody keep telling you, oh my God, you need to make sure you're sleeping 10 hours a day. They said, man, fuck all that. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We not sleeping. We chasing. And when we chase and we catch, we gonna make our sons and our sons' lives much, much different because they never gonna have to ask for student loan forgiveness for the federal government.
With that money, I ended up moving to Luckett's, Virginia, and I bought a 4-acre property where I could park my trucks.
Reinvesting.
Now,
every single thing they do, they start reinvesting back into themselves, and it turns into everything. Even when they're having a kid, they looking at it from a business perspective. All right, we might have to start a daycare, and we might as well make more money with other people's kids since we got to watch our own kids.
She has 12 kids that she takes care of, and her business does very well. It brings around $168,000 a year. So with the money that I obtained from selling some snow trucks, and also the money that my wife was saving from daycare, we were able to save that money, and we started buying properties. Right now.
Oh my God, this dude is giving out my blueprint. This dude is literally giving out the blueprint. Giving out the blueprint. Everything he do is looking at it from a business perspective.
We have 8 houses and 7 properties. We fix them up and then we rent them. Some of the properties that I have are completely paid off. All the others are currently have a mortgage. My idea was to get to my goals faster, was to have different...
Maybe y'all will hear it from him and you ain't gonna hear it from me. Maybe it's gonna take Eddie Nunez to fucking unlock you in order for you to start looking at things and stop trying to buy these stupid ass Altimas and Nissan Maximas as soon as you get a raise and reinvest in yourself.
Streams of...
All right, so let me look at these streams of income. All right, let's see. Rental properties, he generates $107,000 a year. You can't, I don't know if that's profit or if that's just income. Because if it's just revenue and income, then that's much different than profit. Because he did say some of the properties he still got a mortgage on, probably got maintenance, whatever that is, right? The daycare is 100% profit. You don't have no overhead from that, right? And that's what the beauty of that is that when you don't have maintenance problems or when you don't have to pay extra people, it's 100% profit. So that $168,000 a year is 100% in their pocket, right? Cybersecurity, that's 100% profit. He makes $110,000 a year from that. IT consulting, which I'm assuming that's a part of the business that can grow significantly, $3,500. $20,000 from snowplows, and then the real estate commissions, $9,600. They doing really, really well. It don't look like they got much debt outside of the mortgages from the businesses.
Of income and revenue.
This motherfucker giving away all of my stuff. Now he taking my build the business that I'm doing inside of the Patreon as far as showing people how it is that they can build a business from scratch and buying shit. Just buy every fucking thing. That's what I say.
The first time we went to this coffee shop, we fell in love with the character of the place. It looked like that 70 shows or Friends. And we were like, oh my God, this place looks really nice. And they sell Peruvian coffee. And we wanted to add one more stream of income to our current money revenue. So my wife and I decided that this was the perfect business to buy. And my goal is to have 20 houses and also to buy 2 additional businesses. My plans for the future is to own more of my time and delegate more of the work that I currently have.
The only difference from his goals, and he's only 34 years old, so he's fucking killing it. The only difference between his goals and my goals is that my long-term goals is not to run the businesses and delegate more effectively. I don't even want to have the same conversations that I'm having with regard to the people that work for me. I just want to look at it from an investor's perspective instead of looking at it from an ownership perspective. That's a whole nother conversation. I'll break that down inside of the Patreon. I don't want to be the boss. I'm not interested in being a boss anymore, right? I think that this is awesome. I think that I don't have anything negative to say whatsoever. Everything that he does is aligned with what it is that we teach inside of the Bag Chasers. Shout out to Eddie Nunez and him for a grind. And those are the type of people that and this is why I actually support legal immigration if you do it the right way. Again, his situation is completely different, but I think that it's a difference between being a boss. I don't want to be a boss. I know that that's the going thing. I know that a lot of women say that, and they say, yeah, I'm a boss and all of this other type of stuff. I don't want to be a boss. That's what my long-term goal is. You can have that boss life. I'm not interested. My goal is to be an investor, right? I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to kick it. I don't want to have a day-to-day decision in what it is. I want to find competent people that have great businesses that I can actually justify from an investment perspective and pour money into it, and then I want a return on my investment. I want a great return on my investment long term. It's the only thing I care about. I don't care about having 100 employees. I don't care about being the one that tell people what to do, delegation, leading from the front. Been there, done that. That's all cute. It's time to go to the next level. So within the next 9 years, the goal before I turn 50 is to 100% be in an investment perspective, or 100% be in the investor seat, or maybe 99% in an investor seat, 1% in the content creation space. And y'all can have that boss shit. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have it running a day-to-day. You can have telling people what to do, scheduling. You can have, people calling off. And I don't care about that shit. I don't care about what you do, how you did it, how you got there, whether your employees called in today or none of that. I want to be an equity partner in what your business is doing, and I want a return on my investment. That's the only thing I care about. So that's the long-term goal for me. Y'all can be as many bosses as you want. I'm looking for great businesses to invest in, and I'm going from there. So if you know, if you see the play already happening, shout out to the Bag Chasers and the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Fuck all of that being a boss shit. Y'all can be all of the bosses. Y'all can tell people what to do. My goal is to fly into the sunset. I want a return on my investment, and I want to look for good businesses to be able to invest in. That's my goal. So y'all can have that. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. I got to go and catch a flight. I'm going to come back to that one. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Carrie Spencer, shout out to Carrie Spencer. I appreciate you. Says, good afternoon, Anton. Good afternoon, Carrie. Good afternoon, Carrie. Captain DDR is in the building. I appreciate you. Just dropped off that 10 ball and then dropped off another 10 ball and says, Anton, I'm doing bad. But you're one of the reasons why I'm moving better. Every day it's going to be another opportunity for you to do great things, big dog. Says, so I'm showing my appreciation. Can't wait till Saturday. Hashtag bag chasers. We're going to have that conversation in person. Shout out to Captain DDR. I appreciate you. James Hollingworth, the Working People's Podcast, is in the building. Says, in the meantime, I'm looking to spend money to visit Lima, Peru. Eddie comes from Peru and is making that bag. Shout out to Eddie. I really enjoy your show, Anton. I enjoy you too for being here, and thank you, my friend, for holding me down and contributing into the platform. Thank you. Without you, there is no me. SS29 is in the building. Says, Anton, I'm white. My old man worked, brought the money home to Mama Dukes, and she took care of the house. Old school, I guess. They did it wrong. Listen, men are supposed to control the money. I'm going to do a whole live stream on that. Shout out to my white audience out there. SS29 is in the building. I appreciate you. My girl, Cognac TV, is in the building. Says, hey, I'm 23 and sexy. Let me show you what's going on out here. Cognac. Okay, Cognac, you looking gorgeous. I like that. Hey, I'm 23 and I moved out of my parents' house almost 2 years ago. I'm starting to think I'm just wasting money, $1,800 a month. It's not like I can't afford it. It's just a choice at this point. But one of my parents are toxic. Thoughts? You want to know the truth? All right, so here it is, Cognac. What are you doing that's so important to where you feel as though you need your own space and you're willing to spend the equivalent of about $20,000 plus a year? And we're not even including utilities, maintenance, all of that stuff, right? So let's just round it. Let's say you spend $23,000 a year for your independence. What did it buy you? I'll spin it to you this way. Let me give it to you this way, baby girl. All right? Let me give it to you this way. And thank you for the super chat, and that's a phenomenal question. All right? What I would also tell you is that what I tell my daughter is that she can't move out of the house until she actually gets married. And one of the reasons I'm doing so is that you're not buying anything but more bills and opportunities to be able to add debt into your collection instead of allocating that money over into your investments. So I would tell you to put your pride down and go back to your parents and stop focusing on their toxicity and start making adjustments so that if somebody said, listen, Cognac, I give you $23,000 if you can put up with my headache for a little bit, would you take it? If they said I will give you $23,000 a year, but I might be a little bit annoying and I might get on your nerves a little bit, I think you would make the adjustment. I think you would learn how to tune out the bullshit and just let that junk rub off. Okay, so get out the house more, right? Spend a quarter of the money taking more trips. Go and use that as an incentive and go out there and network and, do more things out in the public, whatever. You only need a house to sleep. The rest of the world is your oyster. Go home. You got the rest of your life to be an independent woman and to pay fucking bills. Do not spend your youth. Do not spend your 20s and the time that you're supposed to be allocating and investing looking for a level of independence so that you can watch TV by yourself. Let them fucking annoy you for $23,000 a year. You paying $1,800 to go and watch TV by yourself. Go home, girl. Go home. Trust me, I'm going to tell you the truth. And stay there. Here's the other part of it. Stay there as long as you possibly can. And use every dollar. Use your same budget. the exact same budget that you got now, give them a little bit for rent. Give them a little bit for rent. You know what I'm saying? Help out, do your part. Then allocate every other dollar that you have into investing in things that's going to make you money long term. I'm telling you, it's going to change your fucking life. It's going to be the difference between retiring with 2 to 3 million and retiring with 20. Because everything is going to compound and it's going to roll over. Everything is going to multiply as it grows. But the only thing that you're fighting with is your pride. It's not that they're toxic as a parent, is that you're not able to endure for the thing that's actually best for you. Go home. Go home. Go home. And it'll make you tougher in the end. Fuck it if they toxic. So what? You paying me $23,000 to live here. That's how I look at it. Go home, baby girl. That is a phenomenal question. Let me give you a clap for that, because at the very least, you're looking for insight and information on how you can do things differently. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Cognac TV. I love you, baby. Make sure you join the Bag Chasers. Pierre Lynn says we might need an Eddie Nunez interview. He got that Bag Chaser archetype. Shout out to Pierre Lynn. I appreciate you. Let me see. Brandon said, hey, Anton. Thanks for doing this live. I just wanted to give you a heads up that I sent you an email. Enjoyed the live chat. Thank you. I bet. Brandon, I appreciate you. Thank you for rocking out with me. Mr. Nix. Mr. Nix is in the building. Let me give Mr. Nix a... Says, I was quietly waiting for you to see this. Make it episode. I will keep rewatching and getting wisdom. This is a thank you for the time you put for this video. And a push to do a full show on this ASAP. Mr. Nick, shout out for the $3.33 for holding me down, big dog. I appreciate you for rocking out with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for holding me down. Let me go get something really quickly. Give me a second. I don't even think it's here. Is it here? Is it here? I don't know. Lucky, lucky, lucky you. Lucky, lucky, lucky you. I was about to go get my skates. Junior Hall. But you know what I realized? My skates are down in my office. Because I be skating around in my office. I was about to go get my skates, big dog. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to show you what my skates really look like. Then you're going to know that we really fucking get down over here in Detroit. Make sure y'all get that Teach Hanley. 20% off your first order plus a free gift. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow. Cognac TV, you got this, baby girl. You got it. Put that pride down so that we can run up the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Put that pride down so that we can run up the numbers. Cognac, she said, she said, I will go home, toxic equal abuse. Hey, Cognac, hit me up. Send me an email. We need to have this conversation. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let's get the full context before I just send you into an environment, because I don't want you to be unstable. I need to get the full context. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I want y'all to be the greatest. I got a daughter over there that's looking to go to New York with me. Shout out to Les. Hold on, let me give you the applause. Why you ain't saying nothing? Because it's bass? Hold on. All right, so hold on. I'm going to give you the roll. Yes. Leslie be on the road. Hey, y'all, Leslie be out of town more than I do. Cognac, hit me up, baby girl. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to be doing the show live from New York tomorrow. Bag Chaser Meetup. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.